Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. I didn't have high hopes for Jasmine Pineda heading into the 90-day, the last resort tell-all, but after watching the 5-part reunion, I found myself surprisingly on her side during her complicated split from Gino Palazzolo. After Jasmine moved from Panama to Michigan to marry Gino, her life quickly began to unravel. She had left her 2 sons behind in Panama, and on top of that emotional weight, Gino became distant and refused to be physically intimate. While Jasmine craved that connection, Gino claimed he couldn't move past how she had treated him, leaving them stuck in a painful and unresolvable cycle. Doubts started surfacing early in Season 2 of The Last Resort when Jasmine began referencing her friend Matt Branisteranganu. Eventually, she asked Gino for an open marriage, and it wasn't exactly shocking when Matt turned out to be the person she had in mind. The whole situation felt planned, like Jasmine had already set her sights on being with Matt. This idea gained traction when, while the season was still airing, Jasmine revealed she was expecting Matt's child. Heading into the tell-all, I was curious how Jasmine would explain it all. Surprisingly, her response made sense, and I found myself genuinely empathizing with her. During the tell-all, Jasmine made a strong impression, as she emotionally admitted she should never have proposed an open marriage. She expressed regret for not ending the relationship sooner instead of trying to fix something that couldn't be saved. Through tears, she said, "Therapy cannot fix everything, and my marriage is done." Jasmine didn't shy away from acknowledging her missteps. She admitted she wasn't a perfect partner. But unlike Gino, she didn't point fingers at the therapists from The Last Resort for influencing her decision. While Reba Thomas had opened up to Jasmine about her own experience with polyamory, both women recognized that it only works within a stable, trusting relationship. Jasmine accepted responsibility for her actions, and her vulnerable state made it clear that her request for an open marriage was a final desperate attempt to save what remained of her bond with Gino. When Jasmine revealed her pregnancy with Matt, many assumed she had left Gino for him. But Jasmine clarified that their breakup happened immediately after filming Wrapped, and her pregnancy came months later. By then, she had no further obligation to Gino, and she had every right to move forward with her life and explore a new relationship. Matt expressed his love for Jasmine, but she remained uncertain about her own feelings. After everything she'd been through with Gino, she admitted that she didn't even know what love is anymore. Despite her upcoming divorce and a baby on the way, Jasmine and Matt are not officially a couple. While Matt has been vocal about his feelings, Jasmine seems hesitant to enter into another serious relationship, even with her child's father. It was clear she was still healing, and the pain of how things ended with Gino continued to weigh heavily on her. What stood out most during Jasmine's tell-all appearance was the level of respect she continued to show toward Gino. While Gino lashed out with harsh words aimed at both Jasmine and Matt, she made it clear she could never hate someone she had once loved so deeply. That sincerity stood out. She wasn't trying to erase the past or rewrite the story of their relationship. Throughout the tell-all, Jasmine could have easily thrown Gino under the bus. Lord knows she had the material to do it. Between his lack of emotional expression, his obsession with maintaining control, and his suspicious behavior online, Gino hasn't exactly been husband of the year. But instead of launching a full-on attack, Jasmine pivoted inward. She acknowledged her insecurity. She admitted that her jealousy spiraled out of control at times. She didn't excuse her behavior, but she explained it with clarity and vulnerability. That level of emotional maturity is rare in reality TV, especially when the cameras are rolling and reputations are at stake. While other cast members deflected or blamed production, Jasmine sat there in raw honesty, even as her world seemed to collapse in real time. When Jasmine broke down during the tell-all, tears streaming as she revealed the deep disconnect in her marriage, it wasn't about theatrics. It was heartbreak. Anyone who has ever loved too hard, felt too insecure, or feared abandonment could relate to the weight behind her words. And when she confessed to feeling like Gino wasn't truly hers, that he was emotionally distant even when physically present, it felt deeply human. That kind of honesty doesn't make her weak. It made me sit back and think, how often do we villainize women like Jasmine because they're expressive, emotional, or intense? The truth is, she wasn't melting down for attention. She was finally speaking from a place of raw truth. And just when the tension couldn't get any higher, Jasmine dropped a reveal that sent shockwaves across the cast. She might be pregnant. What made the moment even more stunning was the fact that her marriage was hanging by a thread. A pregnancy in the midst of emotional instability, trust issues, and overwhelming insecurity. That's a storyline most of us wouldn't wish on anyone. But Jasmine didn't exploit the pregnancy as a bargaining chip to keep Gino. She didn't weaponize it. She brought it up with clear anxiety and vulnerability, as someone who was terrified of what the future might hold. It wasn't about controlling the narrative. It was about telling the truth, regardless of how messy or complicated it might seem. She said through tears that she didn't even know how to feel about it. And that honesty, that's what made her believable. So many cast members posture or try to project strength, but Jasmine lets us see the whole emotional roller coaster. Fear, confusion, hope, and resignation. While Jasmine bared her soul, Gino remained stoic, distant, and at times dismissive. It wasn't just frustrating, it was borderline painful to watch. Here was a woman laying everything out, taking ownership of her behavior, confessing her fears about their relationship and possible pregnancy. And Gino looked like he was waiting for a dentist appointment to be over. When he did speak, his responses were cautious and mechanical. He never seemed to meet Jasmine where she was emotionally. And that lack of reciprocity only emphasized the emotional labor Jasmine had carried throughout their relationship. The show has always framed Jasmine as the unstable one, the unpredictable one, but if you look closely, she's also the one who feels the most deeply. And when you match that level of emotional sensitivity with someone emotionally unavailable, you get chaos. Jasmine might be dramatic, but at least she's present. Gino? He felt like a ghost at his own tell-all. If the last resort is about growth and healing, Jasmine is the only one who really graduated from that school. She came into the show full of emotional wounds, intense trust issues, and all the baggage from her long-distance relationship. But she left with self-awareness. She recognized her triggers. She talked about therapy and wanting to do better, not just for Gino, but for herself. You can't say that about a lot of other cast members. Some showed up for screen time. Others regurgitated half-baked apologies. But Jasmine changed. Not perfectly, not completely, but meaningfully. There's a strange double standard when it comes to reality TV women. If they're reserved, they're cold. If they're expressive, they're crazy. Jasmine has been hit with every label in the book, and yet she continues to show up, not just for the cameras, but for the brutal emotional work of being in a relationship under scrutiny. She's not perfect, but she's real. She's not always likable, but she's honest. And that's why I'm Team Jasmine. In a deeply emotional moment, Jasmine even shared that she wished Gino were the father of her child. That honesty underscored that she never intended for the open marriage to unravel the way it did. While it's clear that their marriage may have already been on borrowed time before the last resort, Jasmine's actions reflected someone who was earnestly trying to repair what was broken. The open marriage wasn't an escape plan. It was a final, fragile attempt to hold on to what they once had. The Jasmine we saw in the last resort tell-all was someone who understands that love doesn't survive on romance alone. It needs accountability, self-work, and mutual respect. And while her relationship with Gino might be on life support, her personal evolution is something we should be applauding. In the end, that's why I'm firmly Team Jasmine. Because growth deserves recognition. Because vulnerability deserves grace. And because accountability, real accountability, is the rarest and most admirable trait in a reality TV world obsessed with blame. And Jasmine gave us that. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.